see? Yeah, I saw something come at 8. So
Yeah. So you don't have to look at it right this second. No, that's okay. So this is one of the things we included was I did just a quick audit of your socials. So the first thing that we like to do is we like to just Google the name. And I see the work you've been doing with David has clearly paid off. You're right at the top. All of your reviews are there. Your Google My Business is there.
I think I've always been at the top if you search Stella Property.
Okay.
But what I want to get the top of is like real estate new farm or property management new farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the other interesting thing that I find, so clearly, as you said, you've for your name, which is the first thing, and that's not always the case depending on how you do name yourself, and also depending on where people are searching, right? So when I search from down here, I'm not necessarily going to find Stella Property because I'm not like you guys sitting in Brisbane or in, you know. But yeah, what as Em says, part of the reason you would always have come up really well for your name, you got 30 Google reviews. The other thing that interested me though, because often with real estate, you will have people advertising over the top of you, even though you've gone for your name. You've got none of that.
Okay.
The other thing that's kind of interesting is what socials do come up as well for you. So that
so
isn't
not really.
Yeah, I don't think that's there. So then the other thing is more so then your Facebook page does come up, right? And then it's your ABN, right? And so often it is people, you know, it can be because it's Michelle Wild and you might be active on LinkedIn. It's Michelle actually comes up as LinkedIn quite high, right? Or the company brand does. So often, and particularly when we're working with people more and more, you start to expect to see a shift away from proprietary type directory sites to more your own sites, right? So for your name. But the good thing is, as there's really all positives really here for you, is that your Google My Business is strong. Only, you know, clearly as a bricks and mortar business, I'm assuming you've created that yourself. But often, very few. You know, it's amazing how many people either don't have Google My Business or don't.
I know you've been working with David to accumulate reviews and to post regularly, and he's been really helping you set that up.
Yeah.
So yeah, only positives there. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, cool. And I just kind of did my branding colors this year, so it's a bit more feminine and
they're very pretty. Yeah, that was the next thing we looked at was your website. The website is great, definitely. The only real thing we noticed was that you have your socials on the bottom. We tend to recommend people put their socials on the top, but that's
just some just that little sort of tips and tricks in terms of, you know, how we're lazy. And so there's
that there is great. Having your feed come in is excellent.
This is like most real estate agencies just get the skin done, and like you can pick, I don't know, 15 different types of skin and you'll go with a particular hosting company. Because when I first started 12 years ago, we had a Wix site or something. And it was a nightmare because it didn't have the HTML feed to go. If I load something on my CRM, it goes to my website and then 20 other websites.
Yeah. It's a very, as Emily said, it's a very professional looking site, you know, great with the imagery. Just from a marketing point of view, there's an element of, there's not an immediate call to it. There's not a real just do it for Stella Property.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? So, have you ever had anybody say that before around sort of positioning yourself a little bit, you know? So
who's hosting this is Eagle Software.
Okay.
Right.
I've called them before and emailed and said, I want a call to action on my website. And they're like, yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, call to action. Well, in fact, there's a call to action. It's free appraisal, right? That's okay. But I'm just thinking, you know, it could be something. I think I read it and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit, you know, when Em talks about, you know, what makes you different, right? So, you know, it's a pretty competitive industry. I think that's probably fair to say, right? And when I was reading the about, you clearly got some points of difference that are unique to you, you know, so I just wondered. It's more that sort of, when I say it's not a call to action, it's more a positioning. It's more about what is it that gives you an unfair advantage, makes you different. And as I say, so when I said just do it, well, clearly that's a Nike. We talk about build, protect, grow. It's often around 3 words, and maybe it is a little bit murky, but because this is so professional, it looks fabulous, and it's exactly what you'd expect to find of a real estate. It's using a lot of your real estate on your online website without necessarily immediately telling me what makes you different. You know what I mean? So if that's the only thing I would sort of, and again, this is just a hyper. We like to talk in 1%ers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I did start going through this last night because I bought Marina Del Giovanni's Instagram course.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever done her stuff, Emily?
No, but that's good to know.
Well, she talks about your unique, your UPOV, your unique point of view.
Okay.
So as your unique selling proposition, like I don't have a different. Real estate's tricky because it's, you can't really have a unique selling proposition. I sell real estate, I rent it. I'm pretty sharp on my fees if that's a concern to you, blah, blah, blah. But
but it could be just what you said at the start, right? You said about I want to be seen as New Farm, as being New Farm's best, and coming up there, right? So it could be something along those lines. It could just be, something, I don't know. But again, even you position yourself with that in there, and that might be a way to do it. Anyway, it's not all to say is there's often things that we can do and that they're not usually, they're just little tweaks. And I think if this is a WordPress style website, you should potentially be able to add things in a top bar. I know you have different templates, but you've done this perfectly. So a lot of the people we speak to don't put their phone number and their email, which is the most traditional and the way to do it, right? You've got it up there and close. This is just the place where normally it would be great to have your little icons as well. And we're going to talk about 6 of them, right? So we talk about your Google Map place. We talk about LinkedIn Company, Facebook owns Instagram, Twitter, and then YouTube, right? So those 6 icons are great sitting up the top there and opening to a new page, right? Which is what happens when you do your ones anyway. Anyway, that's just the website. So we don't do the website, but we do often give you some thinking to go, okay, well, I just have there's some little simple tweaks I might be able to do that might actually have a benefit to ultimately to the not just to the it's more about when they come there, right? So then that they actually they can see that you're an active social business and that sort of thing. So
right. Okay, so next is your personal LinkedIn. So we just had a quick few things. So the first one would be that your Stella property off on the right-hand side of your profile is not linked properly because the logo didn't show. So we could maybe look into fixing that. Yeah.
So what's that you've pulled up? Is that my LinkedIn?
Your personal LinkedIn, yeah.
Okay.
But then also, we tend to try to utilize as much of the title under your name as we possibly can. So yes, that's your job, you're a principal, it's still a property. But once we decide on maybe some positioning statements or calls to action, we can find a way to incorporate them into that descriptor.
Yeah, and it's usually very consistent with the website. So New Farm's real estate agency in New Farm, buying, selling, saving you money. I think some of the things that you do uniquely as well, which are further down, which Emily's picked up. I think, in actual fact, here assisting clients to buy new property with no outgoing out-of-pocket weekly expenses. Now, even that would almost all fit in here.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, but whether that's the best thing to put in there, a portion of that might be, right? So it's just because it helps you personally be found, right? So who do I know when I'm looking for a real estate agent? If I'm in B&I, I want to invite them along. Who do I know if I'm a real estate agent looking to sell my house in New Farm? So basically, then if I do a LinkedIn search, which a lot of us in B&I can now do, right? And we'll find those people, So.
But I do like that the cover photo matches the cover photo on your brand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Visually, everything you do is awesome.
Yeah, it's all really beautiful.
Yeah, which is
it's all
great.
Very professional looking. And same here, like having your icon there, great. Did we have any comments about the LinkedIn, Steve? I don't remember.
The LinkedIn company, yes. So the same sort of thing. You've got about 120 characters that you can use there. Okay, so you could talk about property sales management. It's a live business card. This is actually one of the ones where you do use your square logo, but I have a feeling it doesn't quite fit. So we want to make sure you want to make sure you got a square 300 by 300 icon that you put on everything. Right?
But we can. That's an easy fix. Yeah,
and that's an easy fix. And I don't know how many people are following, and I don't know whether you know, but realistically, you're 12 followers, right? So realistically, you've got 100 invites you can make every month to get people to follow this LinkedIn company. Just so you know. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Without running premium.
No, just do that. Yeah, as is.
Everybody has that feature functionality now.
So yeah, we can increase your following there. So this is now Facebook. So again, I love that the branding matches. I like that your call to action is to book now. Something we might.
I was just going to have a quick look at the Facebook. I'll go to Facebook so that we actually see it on Facebook.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, good idea.
I was trying to keep. So I've got my personal Facebook and Insta, and then my business Facebook and Insta. But I've also heard you should intermingle your business one with some personal stuff.
Yeah, just
like do personal, business, or
just so that people know who you are.
I would say particularly the one that often springs up for us is business coaches, and they want to do it all the time, right? So often it's a major mistake, right? Because realistically, it's not really about us or you when we're actually trying to share educate people what and why they should come with us. It's about them, right? So it's about what's in it for me, right? And so I'm not sure what that is. Is this you guys?
Yep.
Oh, that's my husband. We went to the last week.
So this sort of stuff, as you said, you can do it. It's a good way of getting friends and connections that already know you and that like you and want you to do okay. To go, look at them. It looks like you're doing okay, right? But if I'm coming in, I'm literally just interested in the business page. It's probably so this stuff. You do it at a minimum, but this really is probably better on your personal, as Michelle, the director of and owner of your business.
And then maybe you could share it over to your if you really wanted to include it on your your professional.
Because all this is likely to do is give you some loves and some likes, which is pretty good, right? You got 14 of them for a page. That's actually pretty good, and it's all organic. But
I recognize those.
Yeah. So what it does is, that's Michelle on her business page, right? Which is you're probably not getting on your other things, right? So then when you're doing something here, I'll let you talk to this one. This actually, the fact that you've got call now. Did you put any money on this?
A little bit.
Yeah, I can tell.
40 bucks for 5 days or something, not much.
Okay. And when was that? On the 2nd, right? So nothing much has happened, depending on what's happening, right? So the other, Emily, you want to talk to this, and then I'll have a go.
Okay, sure. So, as Steve mentioned, we try to mix it up to have it be relevant to your business, but also show different facets of your business. So these are great because you are trying to rent and sell homes, so featuring the homes and talking about. We have open houses in America. Is that a thing you guys have here?
Yeah. Okay. To go and open house. Yeah. So in terms of it's home open. Yeah.
Yeah. So featuring things like that, things that are relevant to you and easily shareable are good. We don't usually spend money on every individual one though.
So I don't think they're doing that. It's only because I could see the call to action that sort of told us that.
So that's a great personal one. Talks about who you are and how you became, the principal of Stella.
Yeah, and did you?
But that's about.
But this is again. So this is where it's sort of you. So these are great where you can put a person or someone else talking about you, and then sorry, just tell someone that I can't talk right now. 1 second. Yeah. So again, this is more lucky. You see, you've got this. I'm assuming most of this is again organic, just because everybody likes you, right?
Oh, it's the same people.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it's the same people that like you, but you didn't have to pay for that at least, right? So that would have helped your organic reach and that sort of stuff. So just so you know, there's a few things that. So you've got great imagery. And in the past, you couldn't actually even boost this post because you're using probably more than 20% of text. We've been taught how to read a post. We don't need you to tell us again on the image, right? That's the first thing. We know to read the post, right? The second thing is this is fine because it's a call now, but most likely people are only going to do that on their phone. So you're probably knocking off 50% of people in terms of depending on where they're going to see this. The other thing, whenever Emily and you are talking and you're saying, hey, Emily, I want you to promote these apartments or this particular thing this month or whenever what we're going to do, then the first thing is that Emily's going to say to you is, that's awesome. Let's make sure we give it 24 to 36 hours. Let's all give it some love, right? Now, no one's given this any love, including you, right?
Well, my husband tells me all the time, don't like your own posts. You look like
you should like your own
some
posts.
people get told lots of things that aren't necessarily right. So I'm going to tell you things that are right, okay? For a small business, right? Because that's the other thing. There's not that many people successfully doing small business social media marketing and Facebook advertising. And a lot of the data comes from corporate. And a lot of the corporate stuff isn't relevant for us, right? Yeah. And it certainly doesn't always come from the noisy guru either, right? So we're kind of marketers. We kind of use a principle that says, okay, if Stella Property want to promote something, then Dify Social Brisbane's going to like it. Michelle's going to like it. She's going to tell her friends to like it. And then Facebook's going to go, this post's more popular than normal. You should promote this post. Yeah, duh. That's what we want to do. So it gives you a momentum already, right? And generally, we'd promote something where I can actually immediately find out where I can. So normally, and you've probably done this in the past, but it's often better to take them where they can actually read the full detail about this apartment or these units and putting down the deposit and get the offer potentially, that sort of stuff. And so the main thing and the main probably opportunity for you at the moment is to just use clean skin images, right? And use posts, right? So it's all about clean skin. There's no need. So I think you said it's clearly on LinkedIn there is some advantages to doing this because bugger all people read the messages, right? On Instagram. On Instagram, they're just going to look at the picture and they go, oh, that's a nice picture, heart, right? Okay, well, big deal. But if you're promoting it, so at the moment, if you're promoting this one on Instagram, this is better on Instagram than it is on Facebook because, they might push the call to action, right? Anyway, it looks like you've got a bit of a habit, so that's okay. We use a daily or every second day type habit, but we always go, what else? I don't know that I could see too many contact us sort of details. How do I find out more, right? It's all just telling me, and really on that basis, and when you are using it, you're actually taking them to other people maybe, right? So you've used it to somewhere else, right? Which we do on a Wednesday, but that's the only day where we're actually sort of socially doing. This is a brilliant post. In fact, this is the sort of stuff that we'd be saying you should promote this, right? Because this is real people where it's actually not you. It's somebody else. It's somebody that looks like probably your prospect. And so this is great. So happy to have found Martin's dream home, right? So that sort of thing. Anyway, so there's all sorts of opportunities. It looks great as a page. But there's all sorts of opportunities to get more benefit from your posts, I think.
So now with Instagram, Michelle, when we had spoken, I know you were dealing with having multiple Instagrams and trying to streamline
I fixed it.
Okay, there we go. I'm proud of you. Because we were trying to figure it out, Steve, but it was glitching, so we couldn't do it there. But I'm glad it was able to work. So that was going to be my next question is this the Stella you would like to keep?
I had Stella Property Group, Stella.property, and Stella Property. I had to delete the other two before I could log in. Because that was the first one I did, but I couldn't remember the password. But it kept sending. And then I go, I'll just do Stella.property, then I'll start a new one. And then I realized, you can't do that because people will be searching for you on your
you can lose a bit.
But we've now settled on this one. Is this the one?
This one's settled. I didn't have as many. I had more followers on a different one, I think, but I don't care.
But I also noticed this one has the most updated, relevant to your Facebook postings. So I think this is the one she's going with. think this is one we want.
Yeah.
So this call to action you have here is a good start. Like,
yeah.
Across all your socials now, that little short description is the same, is consistent. So the one you have here is a really good start. I'm glad we've settled on one Instagram. And when we work with Instagram, we try to keep it similar to Facebook because Facebook owns Instagram. So advertising on Facebook often spills over into Instagram as well. So Steve, do you have any follow-ups there?
What I would say is, which I hadn't noticed before, Emily and Michelle, this is what I was talking about. Stella, I didn't know this. Don't know if I would have seen it on the website, but Stella's Property is Australia's only female-focused real estate agency. Well, that's a point of difference.
Happy International Women's Day there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the makings of what should be your short on everything, right? So, you're the founder of Australia's only first female-focused real estate agency. And then, so when you're talking about you in your LinkedIn profile, but then when you're talking about the business, you're going to always talk about probably the thing is someone from Melbourne looking up is just not knowing where you are. That's all. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's probably, that little short is a great framework for other things.
Really
I think
it's really well written. Next, what is this? Oh, Twitter. Okay, yeah, let's talk about Twitter. So this is called Stella Property, but you're using it personally?
Yeah, I don't even know if I've posted anything in there.
Yeah, you tweeted in February about the government.
Oh yeah, I did a lot of personal tweeting.
So that's fine, and we can keep that. Okay. It's just we would then want to make this your personal account and not maybe the business account, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I
don't think I have a personal Twitter. Maybe I do. I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter. We can just start over with a new one if you're interested. We mostly use Twitter just to help with SEO. It links through to your Instagram as well, so it's sort of like just an additional benefit for you. Yeah. And again, we'd want to keep a consistent little short bio, so you would take whatever we've decided, preferably the one from Instagram, and then copy it over again to your Twitter.
Yeah. I probably need to update the message on all of them, really.
Well, yeah. So. I mean, but this is just things we've noticed. It's like we said, everything is really well branded. You have a presence everywhere. These are just the little things now.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is just from someone that's sort of outside it, and looking up, you've got clearly the makings of a highly exitable business at some point.
Yeah.
Exitable and sellable business. So anything, that's why Emily was sort of saying, that's why we don't overemphasize Michelle on things. Ultimately, Michelle just happens to be the founder director, but it's about having a business that is ultimately valuable as a bigger business, because we can sometimes hijack our businesses by making it look like we're smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, so my goal is to just continue selling like 20 homes a year because I have a nice lifestyle.
Perfect.
And I'd love to have 100 plus women agents on board with Stella.
Wow, yeah.
And my fees, if you look I mean, I've been thinking about this I don't know why, but I've been thinking about doing this for like 10 years, right? I only about 2 months ago, a month ago, joined Stella, and I put the offering in there.
Yeah.
So it's for $330 a month. You can have everything you need to be a real estate agent anywhere in Australia.
I was telling Steve about that you had this like program where all of your branding and all of that is accessible for people who are interested.
Yeah, maybe I need to change the wording. Like it might get a bit confusing because I've put what the value of it, when people go, this is the value of my rental appraisal or my property price report. It's valued at $299. Well, it's not worth anything. Obviously, it's my time. But these things actually do cost money. So, so those things, if I could say, it costs over $1,500 for me to run my agency a month anyway, regardless if it's me or I have 100 people. So,
perfect. That's it. So effectively, you can kind of go multi-outlet, which again,
which is sort of really what I want to push. I have the license. They're just licensing my brand. That's it.
Right.
Have you done a program around anything to do with that? Like, have you worked with anybody on that in terms of licensing your business?
No, I used to be a lawyer, so I just.
Oh, so okay. Well, that's good. I was going to say.
She worked with herself. Yeah.
Yeah. So for about I reckon 2.5 years ago, there is a guy you should know up there.
Franchising is not a great idea because you have to have a PDS and you have to do income sort of projections and stuff. In real estate, you can't do that. If you work really, really hard and you contact 20 people a day, every day for a year, you probably make 5 sales your first year. If you keep doing that, you'll get to 100. But that's up to you.
Well, it's not dissimilar to our model, right? Just so you know. Yeah. Realistically, we have a similar model.
So you're doing basically like anyone in any town or country around the world.
Exactly.
At the moment, we're focusing. We're only Australia. Emily just happens to be our one that has a foot in 2 countries, and that could be advantageous in time. But at the moment, it's a how do you eat an elephant, So you grow in such a way that, so again, there is some good synergies between your business and my business. But I did go through a franchise program to work out how to do it. And funnily enough, it was a guy in Queensland called Brian Keane who's got a business called Franchise Simply. And it just helped because, as you said, I was going to these coffee meets down here, and I reckon 50% of the room is lawyers, and the rest of them are people that are actually interested in franchising. It's kind of funny. It's like it's a scary business. So in actual fact, COVID struck, and I'm like, no way, I'm franchising this. I'm just going to see if I can get some good people to work with me. So
it's so much easier. I'll send you my license agreement. It's so simple and easy. Like it's like I have no income guarantees or projections or anything like that. It's on your own steam. Whether you sell 1 or 100 every month is of no consequence to me. You just pay this monthly fee.
That probably sounds good because then Emily and others don't have me writing them. But to be honest, I don't think they'd do that. But anyway, the reality is we kind of do work together. But it does sound like a good thing to consider. I'm definitely going to look at it.
Well, there's no risk in it, right? So there's no risk for me. I don't care. I don't have people ringing me whinging about something. You've got a problem with your logon, ring RP Data because I don't own it. I've given you a login for RP Data. If you've got an IT problem, ring Anthony. Like he posts your email.
Yeah, right.
And does he host your website actually?
No, because it's a
real estate specific.
Yeah, I've had quotes from different website people who've come into the group to do it. Like Bandana gave me a quote. It was something like $6,000. I'm like, no. I paid I think $1,500 and I pay $100 a month. That's it. Yeah. So I'm not going to change for.
No, if it's a beautiful website. I mean, obviously we have suggestions, but
and it delivers. Do you know if you've got the Facebook pixel behind the website?
I found the Facebook pixel when I was in my ads account, and it was like, so I sent it to Eagle Agent. I said, "Can you put this Facebook?"
It is behind the website.
Into my website, and they did.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Good to know. All right. You've probably heard Emily share this, but did you want to just quickly go through this, or are you aware of what we're talking about here? For some reason, this always takes.
This is in the brochure I gave you, but
yes.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. I don't have it to hand, but
that's okay. That's all right. You don't need it. Steve.
Sorry. Yeah. No. It's always slow to load. I'm just going to get the picture rather than the. I don't know why. Yeah. That's all.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So it's
there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just our model, right? So in the very beginning in the top left is what we call your small business house. And essentially what it means is that, we can help you, but only if all of these other building blocks are there first. So you have to have a strong strategy and, your offer and your copy and all of that. And then we can help promote and distribute your communication and all of that. So then right below that is what your businesses and your competitors and prospects look like. So your rivals are probably similar to you. It's coming up with one distinguishing factor. Like we said, with real estate, it tends to be very cut and dry. So emphasizing on being the female led is important. And also your prospects are going to look a lot like customers you already have.
The other interesting thing is, as you said, particularly in real estate, I'm surprised given social media at the end of the day is very similar to the old local newspaper, right? Because it's all about news feeds. And what used to dominate local newspapers was real estate and car yards, right?
Yeah.
And yet I am amazed that that's not the case on social media. I just don't understand it. I literally don't understand it.
Agents are like, even, I mean, I'm 45 and I'm only just kind of really getting into this. Like, for me to buy an Instagram course is like, wow, okay, I'm really going to take this seriously. Most agents, the younger guys are probably okay, but the younger guys they're not as established as the older agents.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, that's true.
No idea. They probably give their phone to the agent and go, do something with social, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean?
Without stealing the show, one of my first ever clients was one agent within a chain down here of 4. So they're just 4 very sort of beachside suburbs. And there was 24 of them and 4 offices, right? And they had someone doing social media marketing posts, mainly I think at the time, probably Facebook, and I think, mate, I don't even know if Facebook had bought Instagram at that stage. But anyway, let's say they had. But essentially, beautiful posts, 8 a day. And literally, if you understand how Facebook works, the first post might have got 10%, the second post might have got 8%. By the end of the day, no one's seeing any of these posts because the organic rhythm is so bad, right? So they only had 200 people following the page for the brand. So what we did for the one agent, Chisholm and Gaiman, John Kett was his name, we promoted him and his page as a Chisholm and Gaiman agent. His page became 3 times bigger than the brand within 6 weeks, right? And so then we moved the promotion from, and we were posting every second day, right? So not 8 times a day. And then we basically moved to promoting his listings or his sales, right? So in other words, he was all of a sudden much bigger and stronger just using a local social media marketing strategy than the brand, right? And that in itself has always been a really good, for me, it's a great case study because the smaller you are often in social media, the better, right? It's one of the reasons why we hate banks and and we hate seeing them in our feed, So anyway, I'm just going to drop back onto here. Yeah, anyway, sorry, Emily.
No, good. So next, we talked about your website. That's the middle panel, and how we want you to make sure you have your Facebook pixel to track how many people go to your website, how important it is to have your everything on the top right, because when we learn to read, we learn to read from the top left and across. So having your slogan, your call to action, your socials, just all of that people can take in immediately. And everything that is on your social accounts should also be easily found on your website. That's the whole point. The whole point of socials is to take people back to your business. So we would like, when we work with the 4 main socials of LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we want to make sure we can pinpoint exactly the web page it's on your website. And we also do work with Google My Business and YouTube. I don't believe you have a YouTube account, Michelle.
I do, but there's not much on there. I've put.
So the brand is probably what we're talking about. So you possibly have a Michelle website, but just creating the brand one, which is often for many people becomes the best landing page because you can put a cover and all your icons to your website and your social media. It becomes a really good landing page, particularly if you are doing a little bit of video as well, because clearly owned by Google.
I just found one from a video that I had done by a professional company from 2014.
Okay.
And is it on your site or is it on their site? Because that's the other thing.
I think I put it in my YouTube.
Yeah, on your channel. Yeah,
but do you think I'd be able to remember how to log into that?
Yeah, you can always do forgot passwords. We do a lot of that often with people when we're trying to get things back up and going again and revised in proper names and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can usually get it back.
Also, it's usually linked to your Google account.
Yeah, my email's changed since then. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that could be.
Cool. So I think, Em, we probably just got to the right-hand column where we just talk about the fact that what we talk about.
So just in terms of how Australia, the community works of consumers, according to the Yellow Social Media Report of 2020, right? Or 2019? 2020? More than 90% of Australians are on Facebook, but only 35% of small businesses have even advertised there, and less than 50% exist on it. So coming up with a strategy for your business and advertising properly can access most of Australia's population.
I think, and even people often say, "Oh, but Instagram's the new thing." Yeah, well, Instagram is new, and TikTok and others are also new. The reality is, in terms of being able to have a combined approach, Instagram is best when you actually are advertising. If you're not advertising, Instagram's not ideal, right? And in fact, has about half the following, I think, of. At this stage, it was 9 million when I printed that. So I don't know.
But they have a very high engagement rate as well. So utilizing Instagram with Facebook is a really good approach.
Yeah. Out of interest, how much was the course?
Oh, cheap as, like 30. Oh, well, she had 4 upsells, one-time offers. Of course. So I was like, the first one was buy my ebook. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was really hard to find. I'm like, I'm not buying this ebook if it's like $40. Yeah. 7.
Okay.
Oh.
Then buy my course for this, 37.
Okay.
Then buy my course for I think it was another 37, and then the last one was 97. By the time I'd already spent, like, then she was like, get my absolute everything. And I'm like, fuck, okay.
Sure.
So hopefully there's probably some stuff in there that could be, often with that sort of stuff, there's probably some pretty good blogs you could almost compare it with. But
actually, it's kind of cool to get quite focused on, your unique point of view. Like, what do you love doing?
Yeah. Well, I think that's interesting.
Kind of focusing. I mean, I don't necessarily want to. I'm not here to blow up the world. Like, I just want. If I can find 100 women in Australia who want to work from home and earn between 10 and 50 grand a month, that's my jam.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that it even has that in there. So it's an Instagram course, but it has, talking about just business in general, which is, I think, really valuable.
Yeah, that's our most common conversation is really, you want to have your business plan in order in the first place. And it's probably a good segue as to why we do what we do, right? Because we're generally reverse or rebriefing people in terms of what are the objectives of doing what we do around social media marketing. So maybe Emily, because Michelle, if she only got that this morning, maybe you could just quickly talk through why we do what we do. If you could see that, okay.
Yeah, I can. So our main objectives, right, are to protect, differentiate your brand, be top of mind, and increase your opportunities. So we just do that through, increasing your presence on social media to make sure that you're reaching the widest audience you can and targeting exactly who you're looking for, and making sure that you're in the communities that you're looking to join.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is the people often perhaps mistake, and we talked about it a little bit, is there's the long tail of social media, which is those people that already know you, that are then liking your post and liking stuff, and then you're talking about it at BNI and they're referring you because they know of you, right, and what you're doing. Yeah. And then there's those people that have no clue who you are yet because they're not really in your network. And that's really where ads come in by comparison. Yeah. So targeted sort of, setting targeted audiences. If you have promoted before, I don't know if you've tried setting saved audiences previously. Have you done that with those ads?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Have I done? Yeah, I've done create audience. Yeah.
Yeah. How have you found that? So what sort of, generally speaking, it's not a test,
I struggle with my ads account because when I did my audience, because I was trying to do female only, it was like, oh, you can't advertise to just women or something. I was like,
weird. Okay.
So it kind of blocked me and shut me out, and then I had to wait, and then the second ad kind of worked.
Yeah, I'd never thought of that in terms of gender specific.
Well, I was being discriminatory, and I can't advertise on the basis of sex or something.
Yeah, you can't. You can actually advertise to the women only. You just can't tell people that that's what you're doing necessarily, right? So
I think the mistake I made is said it was part of a job ad, and it's not really a job ad. Well, it is. It's not. It was related to job.
Right. Yeah.
And then they kind of went, "Nah, you're blocked."
Well, we're very good at getting things unblocked, even though we don't like to have to do it. But we actually had one recently with Awards Australia where their main sponsor is 7 News, right? And so, but we have access to Facebook chat and that sort of stuff. So we're able to turn that around pretty quickly after they went down, right? They just went down by way of association with 7 News. And so anyway, but yeah, no, we're very pointy around that in terms of, whilst for us we want it to work in sync, we don't believe that the marketing posts, so the posts themselves without ads, are nowhere near as effective as ads, and similarly, so when they work together, but similarly, other property type developers, let's say, often just do the ads and there's nothing that's backing it up, right? So there's no relationship first thinking, which is most people in B&I have that sort of philosophy, right? Relationship first, sale second, right? And that's a very good philosophy to bring into B&I. It's also a very good philosophy to bring into social media marketing, because ultimately it's around sort of building those people that know you and trust you, and then are going to refer you or use you to buy their house or sell their house, right? So or rent and that sort of things if you're doing that as well. But yeah, we often have to just explain that sort of difference between the long tail of just daily, every second day, whatever we're doing from a posting schedule, and then spending $5 a day on advertising, which is often what we recommend, right? So so this part here, so we waive this. In other words, we don't send you an invoice if we progress, Michelle. If you sort of say to us, okay, well, Emily, that was great. Thanks for giving me that, and thanks for letting us know a little bit around what you would do and what we should do. But we don't know that we're ready yet. Then we will send you an invoice. So that's So that basically that allows. Although I think Emily in your overview you said, we spent a little bit of time doing audits. So effectively, we usually spend about an hour.
No, it's like an hour. Yeah.
Just going through and sort of giving it some thought around. Okay, what could we do here?
It was a significant amount of time, but it wasn't like an all day experience.
Yeah. And then we sort of booked this today as well, just to talk this through so people understand. We find that if we don't do this, people just don't quite capture what it is that we exactly do, right?
Right.
Yeah, of course.
And so this part, I don't know if you know this part, Em. So this one here is just about the setup and planning, which is a 5-hour day, basically. So we literally spend, 9:30 till 3 p.m., take a break for lunch, stand up and stretch on occasion. But ultimately, all of your assets, your social media assets, are brought up to a particular level in the setup session. Make sure it's all consistent. Make sure that we know how to get into them all. Make sure that they're all on brand.
Set up scheduling for you.
That they talk to one another, that sort of thing. And then the 2-hour session is you go from, firstly, it's around that personal connection, so that P2P, so LinkedIn connection. Then your B2B, how do you, in terms of what's the benefit of following strategic others, and so that you can try and get them back. Setting up saved audiences in Facebook advertising and considering an ad strategy, what sort of campaign. And then finally, what's the schedule look like? So Monday to Friday, what would you schedule? So, and so then once we've done that setup and planning session, pretty much if we do it on a Tuesday, pretty much on Wednesday, Emily starts scheduling, right? So the messages go out on the regular basis. So the main thing that we sort of leave in here is we have an extra small and a small offer, right? So we basically either do every second day posting, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and every second month reporting for $242 a month, or we do an everyday posting and an everyday every month reporting, for $374 per month, plus your ad spend. So in other words, we encourage people to spend the $5. And to be perfectly honest, the $242 was made so that people wouldn't scrimp on spending, some dollars on the ad spend, because otherwise, if people just spend $374 and then don't do any ad spend. So again, you've got a website that suggests, and with other real estate that we use, that suggest a daily post schedule would probably be the best, and you can always turn it back, but we don't like to dictate necessarily what you might do. So
whatever you feel most comfortable with.
Well, I mean, I could do a post a day. I was just, before I came to this Zoom, I was showing a cute little rental on James Street. So, I can do a quick video on Boosted and then upload that, go, this is perfect for. Yeah.
So just remembering that anytime, if you do anything along those lines, just having a look. So whenever people come to us, and you've got it, right? So you'd go to Emily, did you see I've just done that new vlog? And Emily go, great, yeah, I can see it on the blog. I'll schedule it. I'll put it up as a post, right? For instance, if you wanted us to do it across the different channels. But you've got capacity to be able to do that, because we don't just post for social media's sake, right? Because if you post just on social media, it's here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah?
Yeah, we want to make sure there's something tangible
on your website. The reason for using the strategy that we use is that basically we get it out there, we're using a website to social strategy. In other words, we're taking a portion of the website. Let's say we were posting about the art of negotiating a property purchase, right? To learn more, we take them back to this link, or contact Michelle and the team by phone number or email. So we never post for the sake of posting. We post to educate, and we would never, we would post maybe the first point out of however many there are, 5 points, right? So to read more, go to here, right? So in other words, the whole idea is always to bring them back where they can find out more. That's the strategy. And realistically, we were talking about people 40 and 45 years and over. Half the time, they're just going to call you. They don't even, you know what I mean? So it's important on posts. The copy that we write is largely it's repurposing your website copy, but then it's how do you contact us and learn more type copy, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think you probably offer a fair bit more than what I'm paying with David, who he does ask for stuff. I don't know where it goes. I don't know where he posts it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe he posts it on your Google My Business.
Yeah, he would post it on.
Do that there.
He potentially posted on Google My Business, although it should come up.
I know you send him a lot.
Yeah. So what we all the point for us is that we just always would ask, no matter what it is, where can we find it on the website, right? So it's just a matter of saying, and look, you've got so much, right? So you've got all these different properties I can buy. You've got these variations of selling or sold. You've got rental options. You've got projects that you're working on. You've got about you and testimonials. You've got a blog, and you've got this 1 day a week. Probably you'd want to just talk about joining Stella. Mm-hmm. My suggestion to you is you really do have an S business. I would suggest you do post Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because usually whether it's an extra small or a small business, on Wednesday we do what we call ambush social media marketing, where Emily goes in and just likes a whole bunch of stuff around New Farm that is strategic, so that you become a good social corporate community citizen. You know what's going on in your community, and or you're posting about, where's the market at the moment, right? So and maybe you're sharing something, not too often, but every now and again from realestate.com or Domain or something else that just shows that you're a player, right? Because the idea of that is in the ideal world, at some point, realestate.com comes across and likes your stuff and follows your page, right? Particularly if they're also at risk, like other ones with Facebook getting shut down at some point. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah. But yeah, that's just by way of saying that the middle day of the week is not really about you. It's about strategic posting and getting the attention of others, and it's actually being social on that day. Yeah. So I don't know that I need to keep sharing this screen.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, Michelle?
No, I mean, it all looks really good. I think I signed up with David for 6 months, and I haven't, I don't know. It's hard to tell what only because I said to him, like, if I can't find a return on my investment, I'm not continuing after that, because he wanted me to sign up for 12, and I just crossed that out and went, mate, after 6 months, let's have a conversation, like at 5 months. And if I can't actually pinpoint where I've gotten a lead or a phone call or a...
Did you lose her too, Steve?
Might have frozen there. Yeah. Maybe, I wonder if she would know to refresh.
I'm going to text her.
Just say, maybe refresh your screen, Michelle.
Oh, she left.
Yeah,
She'll be back.
Is David in the chapter?
Mm-hmm. He's the SEO man.
Yeah, okay. So he Oh, so we've met with David. So I met with David, remember?
Yeah, I've met with him too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, to be honest, in terms of what she's saying, we should, by rights, they should work together. In a way, we may well be able to see the things that he's doing easier than she may well be able to see that, potentially, depending on a web visit.
She said it's not connected. Okay, maybe try joining again. I think it's her internet though. Are you still recording, Steve?
I am. We probably don't need to from here, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think? And let's see if it. Otherwise, what you could do is just give her a call and just put it on loudspeaker, maybe.
Are you still recording it then?
Yeah, should I?